Chris Mackowski of Emerging Civil War, standing into the sun here, a little bit squinting. I'm on the edge of the lake in Kenosha, Wisconsin, in front of the Kenosha Civil War Museum. Opened in 2008, it is 57,000 square feet of Civil War soldiers, highlighting the role that the 7 upper Midwest states played in the war. And let me see if I can name them. Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa. I always forget Iowa. It's because I've never been to Iowa. I always forget Iowa. And they do some great stuff at the Battle of Jackson, Mississippi, for instance. And they've got great monuments. My favorite monument of Iowa is in Shiloh. Anyway, so I'm excited to go and to take a look. There are more than 1 million men from those 7 states who play a key role in the American Civil War. And the museum's mission is to highlight those individual stories. And of course, if you think about all the natural resources that came from that part of the country that helped support the war effort, also just key toward Union victory. So I'm excited to see what they have to share with us today. The main exhibit hall is called The Fiery Trial, but this is not hardcore military history where we get a battle-by-battle recounting of the war. Instead, we get to immerse ourselves in the shared collective experience of the upper Midwest during the war. It's like walking into the past, into a Midwestern town where you see the daily lives of people bustling about and the concerns and the thoughts that are on their minds in the years leading up to the war. There's a little exhibit over here about Elmer Ellsworth, my late colleague and dear friend Meg Groening. Loved this museum because they had a lot of Ellsworth materials here. You get to see some of them on display in this exhibit.
Fellow citizens, I am not wanting in respect for the fathers of this republic.
In far-off Charleston, South Carolina, war erupts, and we see the impact on citizens of all sorts, and we follow in the footsteps and train tracks of men who go off to answer the call to war. No, this is not a Confederate soldier. The first 8 regiments organized in Wisconsin, roughly 8,000 men, wore gray-issued uniforms from the state. There's a quote here from James Green of the 8th Wisconsin, writing to his wife. "You should see us in our new uniforms. They're made of gray cloth, which is not regulation. Blue is the color we should have, but the state furnishes us our uniforms and has no blue cloth, so it made them of gray." As we walk through the museum, we get a sense of what daily life was like for both common soldiers and officers. This looks familiar. In fact, a number of the dioramas take their inspiration from famous photographs. Hey, I know this guy. Each of the exhibit panels are designed to look like a newspaper. There's Elmer Ellsworth in the middle, and then it tells you a little bit of the news that's going on in the exhibit cases around you. The museum is fairly text-heavy, but there are certainly artifacts scattered throughout to look at. But most importantly, they're fascinating stories. There are also these little kiosks that you can find with touch screens that give you little videos that let you go in depth on some topics. So much for foxes in the hen house. I hope you paid for that chicken there, pal. I guess he didn't. And of course, because this is Wisconsin, there is a shout out to the mascot of the 8th Wisconsin, Old Abe the War Eagle, who was awesome, by the way. At the very heart of the museum is a circular theater that shows a 10-minute film every hour. It's called Seeing the Elephant, and it's an immersive 360 opportunity to experience the war as Midwesterners experience it for themselves.
Suffering large numbers of wounded and dead.
And the interior of the theater has display cases that highlight the experience of each state specifically. There's a multimedia immersiveness to the museum, from mannequins that speak to you, to the sound of saloon piano playing, to the clickety-clack of the telegraph office.
Why, hello! Traveling by packet is always pleasant.
A president shot by an actor at a play.
Hello. I just like to watch the river and see all the towns.
So many voices. They all have stories to tell. They're all grounded here in the upper Midwest. and some really compelling human interest stories as part of them. Moving away from the voices, it suddenly gets quiet as I get into the Reconstruction era and they start talking about trying to rebuild America, rebuild these small towns in the heartland, and rebuild a sense of American identity and unity, and how challenging all of that is. And of course, I love memory stuff, so as we get into the tail end of this story, of course, there's a lot of discussion here about how veterans themselves are remembering what happened to them. There is triumph and tragedy told in objective, thoughtful ways that remind us that the war stays with us today. Overall, the Kenosha Civil War Museum is an extraordinary piece of interpretation, immersive, thought-provoking, and entertaining all at once. A great example of edutainment in the best possible way. I encourage you to check it out. For Emerging Civil War, I'm Chris Mackowski. We'll see you online and on the battlefield.